What's up, everyone? Champ Bet's back again for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC Fight Night. Manel Kape versus Almabayev. Excited for this card. Sadly, a few of the fights I was really looking forward to got canned because weight cuts and stuff like that, injuries. So that sucks. But I still think it's a really fun card. It's gonna be a very fun card, even with some of these fights that are gone. I was super hyped for Montana De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina because I was on the underdog there, Montana, but alas, it was not going to happen. I can't explain why I like Montana a lot in that fight. But besides the point, we'll get to it. But first, we'll do a recap of what happened last week. I will say this, for my Tapology, it didn't save my picks for some reason. I guess I accidentally didn't click save or something like that. I don't know. But you can see the picks I made in the video, and I'll go through each one. And also, but first of all, I will bring up BetMA.tips to see how I did. And obviously, this is because I had a bet on Justin Gaethje to beat Dan Hooker, but that fight got canned. So, yeah. This one, Cejudo versus Song. I ended up making some profit. I didn't bet too much on this card because I knew this was a really tough card to bet, and I was absolutely right. I felt like, and I'll go over my picks. I didn't do that good picks wise. Now I was a little crazy with some, but yeah. In terms of going over some of these, let's go in order of the ones that came. Yeah, Eric McConaughey is the first one. Eric McConaughey versus Nursultan Ruziboyev. I put a little bit on McConaughey. I thought he was live to win that fight. He didn't look like he really gave himself much of a chance of winning, to be honest. I felt like he didn't really believe in himself enough to like try going for the wrestling, because I really wanted him to go for the wrestling and get Ruziboyev down. And if he was able to do that, I liked him to win the fight a lot. Yeah, he really just had nothing, sadly, on the short notice. So yeah, I felt bad for McConaughey, but didn't really show up too much and did much. Didn't put too much on that. I knew that was a little like crazy to go ahead and like bet McConaughey. I know most people were on Ruziboyev, but yeah, McConaughey didn't really do much to help him win. I still don't think he's bad or anything like that, but yeah. The next fight I had to bet on was this one: Ricky Simon versus Javid Basharat. I had money on Ricky Simon to win by finish, and when it went the distance, it would the bet would subside. It would void. That was a great bet in hindsight. Ricky Simon got an insane KO. I was not expecting it. Honestly, I put this bet down because I was not necessarily expecting Javid to, or not Javid, excuse me, Simone to get the KO or get a submission. I didn't really expect him to finish, but I knew if either of them was going to finish, I thought it would be Ricky. And man, insane KO. I did think Javid was going to win a decision, but I'm very happy to be wrong because I made some money off that, and that really helped. I wish I put a little more, but I was being hesitant with Ricky because maybe he was on a downfall. So I think hindsight's 2020. It was a good bet in retrospect. Not putting a little more on that. The next one I had to bet on was Andre Philly versus Mel Costa. I went with Philly. Really weird. I thought Mel Costa was winning. Although I've heard some people talk about like, oh, Philly's messing him up on the feet. I'm not sure. I feel like I didn't really think that when watching, but yeah, Philly. I didn't feel like Philly was really able to do too much. I like the takedown and then puts itself into a guillotine. And I guess it was so deep you didn't expect it to be. I don't really know what the decision making was. I know he's a Team Alpha. He was like at Team Alpha Male. I'm not sure if he's there now or if he was there. Like they're really good at defending guillotines. So I was like, oh damn, that was interesting. I couldn't believe that happened. Yeah, fair play to Mel Costa. Looked good, I thought. I didn't put too much on Philly. I ended up making a play because of the dog odds coming on him. I was like, okay, it's enough. I'm gonna take a shot on him, and yeah, that was about it. He didn't really do too much to win. Then the next fight I had to bet on was Rob Font versus Gene Matsumoto under 2.5 rounds. Oh, so close at sometimes, but nah, both are too durable. I knew this bet looked pretty dead. I was like, oh no. And Matsumoto was wrestling early. I was like, no, this is so bad. This is so bad for my under 2.5. I wanted them to go to war because it looked like both were stunning each other on the feet. So like props to them. Both are really tough. In terms of the fight itself, it was pretty close. I did think Rob Font did enough to win. I thought like round one, I gave to Matsumoto, but it's like low key, Rob Font kind of did hurt him, and then Matsumoto hurt him back a little bit too, but wasn't able to really do too much besides that. Like, I know he got top position a bunch, but it's damage over control at the end of the day. You got big slams though, which definitely helped Matsumoto's favor. Round two, I thought was enough for Font, but again, it was really close. I didn't think like the takedowns necessarily sealed the round. I know like optics wise, it definitely like looks that way, but I did think like Font was just landing better. And then round three is pretty clear Font. So I can't be mad at anyone thinking like Matsumoto won like rounds 1 and 2, but I don't think it's like crazy to say Rob Font won the fight. I ended up picking Rob Font. I wish I bet on him, but I'm okay. I'm okay with not having to bet on him. Under 2.5 getting like losing hurt my soul though, I will say that. And then the last bet I had was Brendan Allen. I had him to win the spread plus 3.5 spread, and I had Allen to win by finish. If it didn't finish, it would void. He didn't finish, so I didn't get that. And this is my biggest bet of the card. I was most confident in this, but Allen got me round 1. Thank you, Brendan Allen, for saving my night. Yeah, Brendan Allen looked pretty good round 1. He was getting like wrestled, but then found the position to reverse, stay on top, land big shots. Yeah, he looked good. Even on the feet, he looked great. As the fight went on, round 2, Fluffy's able to do his thing. Fluffy did his thing in round 2. Then round 3, to start the round, it looks like Allen kind of hurts Fluffy a few times on the feet. 2 times. Then can't resist. Then goes on the ground. And then Fluffy's doing his thing. And then there was a moment like this was so frustrating to watch. I mean, not necessarily the biggest thing for me, because I didn't have a money line bet on Brendan Allen. I didn't trust him enough to have a money line bet, and I have enough belief in Fluffy to be like, I know this would be really dangerous to go with a money line bet. But there was a point in round 3 where Allen got better position like he was standing up against Fluffy, and then he rolls up and like goes on bottom. He puts himself on bottom to try to go for a sub. I was like, no, man, because I really think he could have stole the round, because the beginning of the round had that look for Allen, and if he was able to keep position on top, or not on top, it was like standing or something like that. I have to rewatch the fight to explain it exactly right, but it looked like it was like he got up, and then he goes for like a submission. He could have maybe found a way to separate, or if not even separate, try to take down Fluffy. And easier said than done, I get that, which might be why he went for the submission. But yeah, it was just not the best fight IQ I felt. But I knew that going in with Brendan Allen. I just like, I know for sure this guy has the ability to win one round in him, and he absolutely did. So thank you, Brendan Allen. And that's my bets for that card. So yeah, let's get into the rest of that card. I'm a lot more wrong. Modestas Bukauskas versus Rafael Cerqueira. I went with Bukauskas. I was not expecting a round 1 KO. That was pretty crazy. Yeah, no, Cerqueira is just not. He's a fraud. He's not it. I was just shocked. I was thinking maybe Cerqueira be in these positions, maybe land something big. There's a chance of that. I can't be on the Modestas Bukauskas money line or something like that, but I did end up betting his significant strike total, because it was better than his money line. It's like, why? He's gonna land more strikes, win or lose, I thought. So yeah, it was a good win by Bukauskas. Next fight, I already talked about that one. Next fight, Vanderford versus Nikolai Veretnikov. I knew going in, I had zero. I went with Nikolai. I think if I had anything I regretted the most, like picking wise on this card, it was this one. And I explained exactly why. Because it's like, I mean, if you look at it, Nikolai pulled out of a fight not that long ago, and then all of a sudden, short notice here, Vanderford's the guy the UFC probably wants to win. I mean, it kind of should have told you everything there. I really should have went with Vanderford based off that. Yeah, I went with Nikolai, but I did say I was like so zero confidence in that. And yeah, I was zero confidence. It probably should have been obvious Vanderford. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Nick Klein. I went with Malik, like everyone else. This guy, I'm not as high as I was on him, and I wasn't even that high to begin with, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting him to get hurt by Nick Klein that early on in the fight. That just made no sense to me. I was still able to fight the finish, which is good. He's live to get a random KO or finish at any time. I don't trust his cardio. I don't trust. I mean, I guess I can't trust him on the feet either. It's like, I cannot believe that like hurt him, the spinning back. I mean, again, it could probably hurt anyone, but still kind of crazy to me. I don't rate Nick Klein like that, so yeah, I couldn't believe what I was watching when watching that. I feel bad for anyone with like under 1.5 because didn't hit because of that. Next fight up the card. Mel Costa. I already talked about that one. Ion Cutelaba versus Ibo Aslan. I went with Ibo Aslan, and I did say, I was like, I have no confidence in this guy. I believe is a fraud, but I did think Ibo was gonna get past this one and just went on the feet by random mean KO, because like that's what Ibo Aslan's just been doing. I always knew this guy had no ground game or didn't have one. I just didn't think Cutelaba would be able to get there, and if he did, he'd mess it up somehow, because that's Cutelaba. Shout out to Cutelaba. I'm a little sad that I missed out on the Ibo Aslan fade, but it is what it is. At least I didn't bet on him. Like that I'd feel even. I'd want to hurt. I would want to like. Oh, I'd be kicking myself if I did that. I didn't though. We're good. Yeah, no. Ebo is just not good on the ground. If you get him on the ground, nothing. This is just not good. Yeah, great win by Cutelaba. Get a sub. It was getting dicey though. I will tell you that it was getting dicey. I was like, oh, Ebo's gonna get the KO round 1, round 2 kind of thing. Nope, not able to get the taken down. That's the fight. Next fight up, Alonzo Menifield versus Julius Walker. I went with Alonzo to win. It was a good fight. It was a fun slugfest, but both guys got super tired. I think it's because both were on super short notice, so I think that's why. Not super short notice, but short notice nonetheless. Yeah, Alonso just did enough, did more to win and land the bigger shots. I mean, what more to say? Both got tired. Gene Silva versus Melsik Baghdasaryan. I went with Silva to win. I mean, he did it a lot easier than I thought he would. I will say that, because I thought on the feet is like it could be interesting and dicey, and I wanted Silva to go for a takedown. I bet on him to get like more takedowns, which ended up voiding, and I also bet him to get like over 0.5 takedowns, which did not end up voiding. You can't void those ones, so I ended up losing a little bit on that. But I didn't even put too much on that. Yeah, Gene Silva made it look easy. Now he's fighting Bryce Mitchell in UFC 314 in Miami. I'm going to be there in that card. I'm very excited for that fight. Although I fear it might be a Bryce Mitchell just lay and pray fight. So I kind of hope I'm wrong, because that'd be more fun if it's not. But for just what I'm thinking about doing tape study. I know Gene Silva's power is ridiculous at 145. Like, this dude could probably KO a lot of dudes in that weight class. But yeah, it needs to step up. Bryce Mitchell to step up. Let's go. I'm excited for it. And then the main event. Song Yadong versus Henry Cejudo. Weird stoppage. And I was saying, in reflection, I was like, in time, I was like very happy. It was like, okay, good, Song won. But honestly, it really should have been a draw. Like, when I'm reflecting, because yeah, I'm reminded of. I know the fingers were not intentional. That's not even the point. But it affects the fight. And because of that, you're able to take a point. It was just like that for Moreno versus Figueiredo 1, where Figueiredo got a point taken because of the nut shot in was round 3. I think it was round 3, and it hurt Moreno so bad, took a point. I think it probably would have been something similar there, because Henry got fouled a few times and able to get one. Sadly, I feel bad for him, but it is what it is. I hope his eye's okay. It was pretty deep. Pretty rough. But and I oh my god, I hate this about Song. When they got right back to fighting, he had his fingers right. I couldn't believe. I was like, no, Song, what are you doing? What are you doing? I picked Song, by the way. I'm happy he won for like my sake, because I picked him. But yeah, no, going by Song, but and I did think Song was leading more towards Song winning. I will say that. But it probably should have been a draw, if I'm honest. But yeah, it was a good fight otherwise. Good, actually not good. Great card. But now let's get on to the next one. Let's get on to the one we're talking about this weekend. Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Tamirov. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. This is a tough fight to call. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go Charles Johnson decision, but I will not be shocked if Ramazan gets the win. I'll tell you that. Do not bet Charles Johnson pre. Do not bet him live, because Ramazan's going to have a hell of a round one. I think this fight has a chance to look a lot like the, where is his name? Azat Maxim fight, where Azat's kind of doing his thing early on, and Charles Johnson takes over. I think there's a good chances like that. I wouldn't be shocked if Ramazan knocks out Charles Johnson. It's very, very possible. Charles Johnson is pretty durable, but this doesn't mean it's going to last forever at flyweight. This guy swings for the fences. It's tough. It's a tough one, honestly. But I've been leaning with CJ with the experience. I think he can last the storm and really like get to Ramazan, maybe attack the body more and try and get him tired. I know this guy's gone 3 rounds fighting the style he has, although I think at this level it might be a little different. So I'm going Charles Johnson, but I'm not that confident. Do not bet him live. Do not bet him before the fight. Bet him live if you're going to bet him, because honestly, he might just get KO'd in round 1, and like that's fully possible. You rather be on him as the fight goes on, especially if it's plus money. Next I have the card: Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldrich. You know what? I like Andrea Lee here, and I'll say this: I've been pretty good at predicting Andrea Lee fights. At least her last few, because I've been picking against her literally all these fights. I've not picked her once in any of these. I picked Montana De La Rosa to be here. I picked Miranda Maverick to be here. I love you, Miranda. She's the best. I picked Natalia Silva to be here. That fight just completely, like, it's a blur. I don't even remember that, genuinely. Lost to Macy Barber. Low-key close. And also the Montana De La Rosa one. Pretty close, too. And Arujo just out Arujo'd her. Just did what Arujo does. But I think she's very live to win this. I think this is a big step down, even from Montana De La Rosa. And I know all but JJ Aldrich beat Montana De La Rosa. Montana De La Rosa didn't even try wrestling in that fight at all. And to be fair, Montana De La Rosa also like trained with JJ Aldrich for a while then. And I think that's possibly why she didn't do that. So she's fought JJ Aldrich's type of fight for 15 minutes. It is not there. But styles make fights. It's a different fight, and I think Andrea Lee wins this. It's going to be probably pretty close. I'm not going to lie, but I think she can win 2-3 rounds. I'm going to have to put a bet on her, especially if the line keeps going. I think she's super live to win this. It's not like one of those things where the UFC's trying to build anyone. I just like just having the having them fight their contract and stuff like that. But I think Andrea Lee has a chance to bully JJ Aldrich, because a lot of her, I feel like she is like a bully type of fighter, and I think the lines on, if I check Bovada, like there's more significant strikes and more takedowns line. When I'm looking at more takedowns line, she's the favorite in that. Why is that? Because she can bully. She can be a bully, and she usually wins fights when she's the bully. I think there's a chance she can bully JJ Aldrich. I was on JJ versus Veronica Hardy. I was very underwhelmed with that performance. I think low-key she could have won, but she didn't do enough. And like the problem with JJ, she does not separate ever. There's no fight where she really separates. You can kind of say the same thing about Andrea Lee. I get that, but I think this is a big step down. And I think because of that being such a step down, I think she's live to win this. There's a line on DraftKings that's like more submissions. Like excuse me. Submission only, void if it's not the fight does not end by submission. It's like minus 265, something like that. That's a great bet on Andrea Lee. That's a great bet because JJ Aldrich does not go for submissions. If anyone goes for a submission in this fight, it's going to be Andrea Lee. Does she probably get a submission? Probably not, but she's the only one who's going to be even trying for a submission. Yeah, give me Andrea Lee. I still think she's better, even at a regressed state as she is. She's not the same fighter she was before. Even at this regressed state, I think she wins this fight. And I will say this: I think I've said for countless times for women's MMA, at this level of women's MMA, age doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't. We've seen this so many times with Angela Hill, even GDR, Holly Holm, but even then, that's probably even a higher level than this fight. But Angela Hill at one point in her career, especially, like she was in like these types of fights, older, still getting the win. I think age isn't necessarily like the biggest factor in women's MMA at this level. At the top level, absolutely, the very very top, fighting for the championships, stuff like that. I think it absolutely does matter. But as you go down, not as much the case in women's MMA. Give me Andrea. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Give me Andrea Lee. I think she wins this fight. I'm probably gonna bet her. Lucas Almeida versus Danny Silva. This is a great fight. This is such a fun fight. I love me some Danny Silva. I think this guy's the real deal, although I am very scared because I think him getting flash KO'd is coming. It probably is coming, and Lucas Almeida could be that guy. I don't think it will happen. I'm going to go with Danny Silva round... Let's go round 2 KO. I think he finds a finish here against Lucas Almeida. I think the difference here will be Danny Silva being willing to mix it up. And I think he'll have success mixing it up. And because of that, I think it's going to lead him to win. And I think he can get some ground and pound off. He lands big. I love the volume of Danny Silva. He's an absolute madman. He breaks dudes. But because of how he fights, he is breaking dudes, but he's getting hit. And that's the worry in this matchup against Lucas Almeida. Because Lucas Almeida absolutely can crack. But I am going to lean with the younger guy in Danny Silva. I think I love that he trains with Cub Swanson, and he's training with really good guys. Like I think it was with Jalen Turner or something like that, if I remember. I might be completely wrong, or like messing up names and stuff like that, because I remember hearing about that and seeing that. Besides the point, I like Danny Silva a lot as a prospect. I think he's going to win. Yeah, but would I be shocked if there's an upset? I won't be, to be honest. I won't be. So yeah, give me Danny Silva to win. Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. You know what? I'm just going to do it just because. I've been picking against Chepe this whole time. If I get this one wrong, picking against Chepe, it's whatever at this point. But I actually have like reasons for going Ricardo Ramos. So I get like, okay, one, fighting nerds, if you even so care about that. I don't think that's even that much of a point, to be honest. But if you think about it, fight nerds are so good. They're 1-2 in the UFC this year. Gene Silva, then Bruno Brazil, Mayan Bueno Silva lost earlier this year. Ricardo Ramos can make that 2-2 or 1-3. So let's see. It is a good gym though, to be fair. And I do kind of like that Ricardo Ramos is looking for new scenery. But I will say this. I mean, also maybe fighting nerds have some, enhancers. But also, I just think Ricardo Ramos is better skillfully. If I'm being honest, I don't think Chepe's anywhere better. Is better anywhere except for Hart, which is exactly why he's such a big favorite. To the point, but I don't think he should be that big of a favorite against perhaps anyone, if I'm honest. And if we're looking at it, Ricardo Ramos is only getting finished in round one. He doesn't get finished as fights go on, and fights that go long, he does usually win decisions. I did think Coolabout won his last fight against Ramos, but it was close. It's kind of on Coolabout. Coolabout let that go away. But Ramos is not bad. I like his jiu-jitsu. I like his striking. Pretty all right. I think Chepe is hittable, and he does take shots, and he's been KO'd bad before, and I wouldn't be shocked if Ramos does that somehow, like with maybe a spinning elbow or something like that. I'm sure Chepe's got to be knowing that's coming. But would I be shocked if that happens? Absolutely not. So you know what? I'm picking it. I'm going to bet it, but I'm only going to bet it very small. I fully know what I'd be betting against if I put much on Ramos. It's definitely not going to be a big play by any means. 0.5 or less. But even then, I'm not even sure if that's even worth it. Let me check. What's the line at now? Plus 335. I'll probably put enough to make a unit. 0.3. That's probably what I'm going to do. Because I don't think it's outlandish to think Ricardo Ramos wins this fight. Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. I'm excited to talk about this one. Uh, I absolutely love Mario Pinto. I think this guy is one of the brightest prospects the UFC has right now in terms of heavyweight. I mean, that's not saying a lot because heavyweight doesn't have much. I guess they have Taliesin Teixeira now. I think he's a pretty good prospect now after seeing what he did against Toffee. He showed he's willing to grapple. I think that's a good sign. For Taliesin Teixeira, of course, and of course he lands big. So good for Taliesin. But I like this guy Mario Pinto. I made a video at the beginning of the year talking about like awards and stuff like that, and also mentioned guys I had a lot of expectations for, like my favorite Dana White Contender Series prospects. One of the guys I put in that was Mario Pinto, and another one was Gurule. It was like a guy who trains with Brandon Royval flyweight. I like this guy Mario Pinto a lot, and let me tell you why. He very all-around game, which says a lot in heavyweight. I think his grappling is pretty all right. I think his wrestling is pretty all right. Like at bare minimum. I think his striking is pretty good. I like his cardio. He's gone 5 rounds before. Pretty great. I like all that stuff, and honestly, having all that is going to get you pretty far in heavyweight, like top 15 in my eyes. He's still very young, still going to be getting better. I love that for a prospect. Like, he's not necessarily fought the best competition, but by all means, he's doing good in these fights. Do I think he has like all-time power? No, I don't necessarily think that, but it's heavyweight. Anyone can knock anyone out. Which is why I'm going round 2. I do think round 3 is live as well. I think the later rounds KOs in this fight is very possible. And the reason why I go like that is because I think Austin Lane is just his gas tank. It's not good. Yes, he can wrestle. His gas tank's not good. I like the get-ups on Mario Pinto. I think because all that's really technique at the end of the day. And I think he can absolutely have Austin Lane get tired and finish him later. Can he probably snipe our Austin Lane early? I would not be shocked. By all means, Austin Lane's not really that good. Excuse me. At least I don't think so. I think Robelis' ground game is just that bad that Austin Lane was able to do that, no problem. But I like Mario Pinto here. I love him a lot. I think this guy is the real deal. I got him early at like minus 310. Very happy with that price. Price is disgusting now. So I wouldn't bet it now, but what I'd be looking at, Mario Pinto minus 3.5, I don't hate, because maybe he can still win round 1 and still get a finish. I think it's very possible. Mario Pinto 6 strikes, if you have that, minus 425 is what I have it at. I think that's pretty good. That's better than his money line if you're going to, because I don't think Austin Lane's going to be throwing much at all. He's just trying to wet blanket. But yeah, I think Mario Pinto is going to absolutely smoke Austin Lane, especially if Austin Lane gets tired. I love Mario Pinto here. I have belief in his future as a prospect. I like what I hear from him in interviews. And what I want to see from him is just a reminder, when Tom Aspinall got into the UFC, he wasn't like all this great shape that he's in right now. I want to see Mario Pinto. Yeah, he's not going to look like that, like this point in his career, but I want him to take the serious and get in way better shape. If he does that, he can be someone really legit in this division. And I love him a lot, and I'm on the train right now. Let's get it, Mario Pinto. I like Mario Pinto. Next, I have the card: Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. I think left-handed God is back. Round 1 KO. Patterson's chin is horrible. It's not horrible. I shouldn't say that. His defense is horrible. His defense is god awful. I was on Yanel to beat Sam Patterson in that fight. I was on him to win. And I felt like I was on an island. Absolutely sniped Sam Patterson. Beautiful. I think Barlow's going to do something similar here. I think he can absolutely just take the head off Sam Patterson. How Sam Patterson's wrestling's not that great. How he gets takedowns is with trips or body locks. And how is he going to get those trips and body locks? Through the clinch. How does he get to the clinch? He's got to close the distance. And with his bad defense, he's asking for trouble with left-handed God, Danny Barlow. I will say this, things to worry about: Danny Barlow's hands breaking in fights. That's just not good. It's happened 2 fights in a row. Hope it doesn't happen again. So I will say that. He didn't look good against Nikolai last time, but I think this is like a styles thing. Like, styles make fights. Nikolai looked really bad against Vanderford and looked pretty alright against Barlow. But Barlow is still really green. I do worry if this fight hits the ground. If it does hit the ground at any point, Sam Patterson probably very, very live to win. I have belief on Barlow. If it gets to that point, he can at least keep himself safe enough for the next round to start. And then get another chance to crack that chin. Yeah, I like Barlow. I think he's going to find the KO early. Violence. Will I bet it? I'm tempted. I probably only look at doing it in like a parlay or something like that, because minus 135 is kind of nasty. So I pair with something I like let me see, like Barlow KO with, and I'm only willing to play KO because if he gets a decision, I don't really want to be on him at all. Barlow KO with, I mean, Pinto gives you a little bit of plus money, although that's not that great. That's just the money line. Minus 3.5 plus 135. It's okay. But Barlow wins by KO is probably how I would look at it. Maybe I parlay with Andre Lee just for the sake of it. But that would be a very small one. I have to think about it. But I'm probably going to put something on Barlow KO, but it wouldn't be anything that crazy. And then probably it might not be by itself. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I do think Barlow gets a KO here. I think this is the type of fight. This is the bounce back fight for Barlow after his last one not looking so good. I think the hype train's going to be back on after this one. Give me Danny Barlow. William Gomis versus Hyder Emil. I love this guy. Well, I love both guys, but William Gomis is my guy. And I honestly, I'm going to go crazy here. Give me Gomis round 2 KO. Round 3? Round 2. I think Gomis can actually get a KO here. I call me crazy. I'm not gonna be betting his KO prop or anything like that, but I'll be looking at that William Gomis finish only because I believe in this guy's defense. I think his defense is incredible. I think Hyder Emil is closer to like a Joanderson Brito, or he has a similar style to Brito. Just not as good. He's nowhere near as good as Brito in my eyes. I think Brito's just better than Hyder Emil. I do want to go over this real quick. Let me actually, I want to look up Hyder Emil, because Hyder Emil mentioned, I listened to an interview with Hyder Emil. Let me click save real quick. Hyder Emil mentioned in an interview that William Gomis resembles a fighter he has fought. And that fighter was, I believe, was Robson Jr. Was this guy. And he mentions like, oh, this guy is undefeated in Muay Thai. I forgot the record he gave. It was like 4-2-0 or something like that. And he trains with Alex Pereira, and he fights just like William Gomis. And I'm really good at adjusting, because that's what I had to do to beat this guy. I don't see how this guy is similar to William Gomis. I don't see it. I don't see it from at all, if I'm being honest. I think William Gomis, can't even speak right now. With Hyder Emil saying that, I was like, I don't even know if he realizes what he's getting into in this matchup. Hyder Emil's so hittable. He's an absolute dog. Don't get me wrong, I get that, but hittable as hell. And a guy like William Gomis, I think there's a reason why people don't just try and go for the kill. If Brito's not just going for the kill on this guy, I think there's a reason. I think there's a little bit of power behind those. He's a clean hitter. He's really good, William Gomis. And I love the athleticism of Gomis. Really fast moving. He's got a ground game. I like his ground game. Hyder Emil, I don't think his ground game's all that great, if I'm honest with you. I think he can absolutely get wrestled here by William Gomis. I love me some William Gomis. I think it's maybe not a big step down. I wouldn't say that. I want to be that disrespectful to Hyder. But I think this is a step down in competition with William Gomis. I think he's going to look good. I think he's very live to get a finish. I'm already bet William Gomis money line, and I'm going to be betting his finish only. I think it's very live to win. I think it's very live to get a KO or submission even. Yeah, give me William Gomis. I love me some William Gomis. I was right on him on Brito. I was like, oh, I'm picking Brito all week until then I did my breakdown. I was like, nah, I'm going Gomis. I think he's super live to win. And he won. I haven't picked the guns Gomis yet, and I like these French fighters. I don't know. I have something about the French fighters, the Canadian fighters, and Australians. I just like them as like fighters as a whole for some reason. But it doesn't mean I won't pick against them, obviously. But yeah, William Gomis, I like this guy a lot. I like him as a prospect. I think he's a compelling fighter at this weight class because I do think he can do something. And he's still young, still getting better. The age not necessarily Hyder's strong suit right now. Give me Gomis. Nasrat Hakparas versus Esteban Ribovics. This is a great fight. I'm going Ribovics decision. I think he can just land the better shots. He does have really good volume, although Nasrat does too. Nasrat's last fight, I had a lot of money on Nasrat to beat Jared Gordon. I got away with one. Because honestly, I thought Jared Gordon won that fight. But Nasrat's not bad. I gotta say that he's not bad, and this line is being very disrespectful. Nasrat's not a bad bet if you want to bet him because he's better than what he showed last time around, and Jared Gordon could be a little bit of a tough test for dudes. Ribovics is hittable. He's hittable. So I wouldn't honestly, I would not be shocked if Nasrat gets a win here by any means. So I can't be mad at anyone betting him. I just think Ribovics is gonna land the bigger, better shots. The under is probably a little crazy to be honest. Although I get it because they're both super durable. I'm not even picking like the fight to be like. I'm not even saying KO round 1 or 2, 3, Ribovics or Nasrat. But like with how they fight, an under 2.5 is probably the way to look at it if you're gonna be looking at like on totals. I think this fight probably plays out close. Nasrat plus 3.5 is minus 125. I think for a reason. Nasrat will keep it close, but I'm not gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna be playing anything on this fight. Maybe I'll put a small thing on under 2.5 just for value sake. But otherwise, I'm just gonna chill, have fun. This is gonna be fight of the night. Very excited for this fight. That's one or the Danny Silva fight. Very excited for it. I do think Esteban Ribovics having a really close and great fight with Zell Huber says a lot to me because I really rate Zell Huber a lot. I think Zell Huber is really good. I think that's enough for me to like have belief in Esteban Ribovics as a prospect and keep getting better and be able to win this matchup. So give me Esteban Ribovics to win, but not that confident in winning. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. Kind of crazy this is the co-main event. I know everyone's saying that, but I totally get it because this fight's going to be a car crash. And we love ourselves some car crashes. Give me Cody Brundage to win by round 1 KO, but I'm going to say this. I've been seeing almost everyone on Cody Brundage this week. And the line hasn't like flipped yet. Now it's evens. But the line hasn't flipped. And that's getting me like there's something wrong. There's something up with this. There's reasons to be worried about both sides. Is Julian Marquez really all that invested in this anymore? I don't really know. Is his shin gone with Julian Marquez? It could be. I wouldn't be shocked if it is. Which is kind of what I'm banking on with this KO bet. Even though Brundage just generally can crack. Can Marquez get out wrestled? Probably. I wouldn't be shocked if like Brundage wins the decision. If he just like completely like just out wrestles him. But Brundage's fight IQ can be so bad sometimes. I mean, like the Dumas fight. I know that was super short notice for him, but God, it was just such a horrible look. With Brundage, any sort of adversity, he kind of quits, to be honest. He does quit. Julian Marquez does have heart. You can't take that away from him. Maybe at this point he doesn't. I don't know. But, I mean, his back is against the wall for sure. I mean, Brundage probably is too, but I feel like even more so with Marquez. He needs this one bad. Yeah, like heart-wise, it does get me worried to be on like Brundage at all. I wish I bet Brundage earlier in the week, but didn't end up doing it. So I think this is just a complete stay away. I could see arguments for overs and unders, because these guys finish at a high rate, but overs because sometimes when these guys kind of fight, they just stay in there with one another and get tired. I'm going Cody Brundage to win, but I have very little confidence. I would not be shocked if Marquez wins. I'm just staying completely away. Zero confidence. Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. I'm excited for this fight. This is a great main event. I'm going for the upset. I'm going Asu Almabayev to win decision. I think Asu's the real deal. I really do. And what I think, Manel Cap is a different fighter when he fights really good wrestlers and grapplers. He does not fight the same as like he did last time, where he looked like a god. I was there in person. That was insane, watching him fight Bruno Silva. How he was. I mean, probably not a great stoppage to be honest, but he was in the zone. Against Asu, I don't think the same Cap's gonna show up. And again, you can't really trust Cap to show up from fight to fight. I will say that. He sometimes just isn't the same guy. Yeah, I think Asu will be able to find takedowns and win like that. And I think he needs to get multiple takedowns in the fight. And I think he's got the capabilities to do it. I'm a little worried about the short notice nature of it. But I got belief in Asu to be able to get those takedowns, get multiple takedowns. There's lines on DraftKings where it's like Asu Almabayev to get like 2, 3, 4, 5 takedowns. I think all those are really good bets, to be honest, because Asu's path to victory is getting a takedown. It was like plus 1100 for Asu to get 5. I mean, I think that's a good look for sure. Like the worry would be Cap just completely defending them, but that's Asu's path. It's Asu's path. He's not going to have a path if he just tries to outstrike Cap for five rounds. It's not going to be like that. So since you can bet Asu's path to win, that has to be the way. That has to be the way to bet this fight, rather than his money line at this point. I already have a small bet on his money line to make 1 unit. Already have that set in. It's not a really crazy big bet because I do think Cap's pretty good. I am a little worried, but I got belief in this guy Almabayev. I think he can get takedowns. I think he can have control, and even if Manel Cap comes up, I think Asu can keep that pressure going and get the takedowns. I mean, both fought Nicolau. One won. The other one lost. Although to be fair, Manel Loki kind of was robbed there, but it was a close one to be fair against Nicolau. I don't think Manel Cap's necessarily a world beater, and I think he's going to lose this fight. So yeah, give me Asu Almabayev to win. Real quick, going to go through the picks again, and I'll also talk about the significant strikes and more takedown totals that I like who gets more, less, etc. Because that's I'm pretty good at those. Charles Johnson and Ramazan Temur. This could be dicey. I think more takedowns, probably Charles Johnson's an all right look, to be honest. More strikes, however this plays out. If you think Ramazan's going to finish Charles Johnson, definitely him. If he's not, Charles Johnson's the way to go. It's hard to tell, though, with that one. JJ Aldrich versus Andre Lee. This is a tough one, to be honest. It's hard to be like really calm to either. I guess 6 strikes, Andre Lee, I'd lean, but like Hirsch's volume's not the best. I honestly probably stay away from this one. That Lucas Almeida, Danny Silva. Danny Silva more takedowns. I think it's pretty easy, and Danny Silva more significant strikes. I just his volume is so good. I think you could trust him with that. Carter Ramos, Chepe Mariscal. Bobby Mariscal takedowns probably be the only thing I'd really look at in this fight. Maybe 6 strikes, Chepe, if you think he wins. But if you think how I think, Ricardo Ramos, 6 strikes. Not bad. But I just takedowns, Chepe, probably the only thing I would look at. I wouldn't even want to play that. Austin Lane, Mario Pinto. I think more 6 strikes, Mario Pinto's pretty good. More takedowns is interesting. I would stay away from that. I wouldn't be shocked if Austin Lane gets reversed and that counts as a takedown from Mario Pinto. I'm gonna be honest. I would not be shocked if that happens. Danny Barlow, Sam Patterson. I think Barlow more significant strikes is a good look. Sam Patterson more takedowns is definitely a good look as well, because if Danny Barlow goes for a takedown, God help him. What is he doing? William Gomis, Hyder Meal. The thing with Gomis, actually, let me look at UFC stats real quick. Just real quick at Gomis. So I need to see this with him. Is he outstriking his opponents? Because I know he's pretty typically low volume, which is the worry. There's my guy Gomis. Outstruck Giannis Gamore, whatever. Outstruck Brito. Outstruck Francis Marshall. Outstruck, yeah. Okay, so then I feel pretty good about the significant strikes with William Gomis. It's just with Hyder Emil, I know he's actually probably gonna go for it, unlike some of these other guys. Although I don't know, Brito didn't go for it, so I'm not sure. William Gomis's defense is really good. I think you can rely on that for 6 strikes. And then more takedowns. I think Gomis is pretty good there as well. So I lean him to get more takedowns as well. Nasser Akparas, Ribovics. This is an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I know Ribovics does throw a lot of volume, but yeah, Ribovics more 6 strikes. I'd probably go, but takedowns. I don't know. I don't think you can go either side of that one. I'm not confident at all in that. I'm not confident at all. Brundage versus Marquez. Again, this is. I'm not confident. I guess I'd go Brundage more takedowns if I had to pick one. I think Brundage more takedowns is pretty good because I don't really see Marquez going for a takedown. And Manel Kape, Almabayev. Ostu more takedowns, but I bet you that line's disgusting. More 6 strikes. I'm not too interested. I'm not too interested in that because I think there's a chance Manel gets them and like Ostu has like a lot of top time still and just wins like that still. So I would not be shocked if like it goes like that. But yeah, that's my breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. You can check me out at Bet Me Tips Champ Bets. And yeah, can't wait for next week. Pay-per-view, Ankalaev versus oh my god, forgetting Pereira. Peloton, how could I forget? And replacement Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gaethje. Very exciting card. Very happy to break that one down. Might be a tough one to bet, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll make the reads. We'll keep looking. Very excited. Thank you all for watching. See you guys next time. Have a great one.